In today's video, I'm going to share 3 steps with you about how to use testimonials in your marketing. And you're probably wondering, what in the world am I holding a cup of barely filled up water in my hand for? Stick around and you'll learn more. Testimonials are super powerful forms of marketing because they're not your words, but someone else saying, hey, I love your product, I love your service, I love your event. I'm going to give you an example using social media marketing world, and I'm going to talk about what we did at our last conference and how we're using it to sell our next conference. And I'm going to show you in 3 simple steps how to do this. Step number 1 is to ask people for information. Or said another way, this is how you get the testimonials. One of the easiest ways to do this is to use a survey system. For example, SurveyMonkey, what you see right here. And there's 2 magic questions that you want to ask. Number 1 is, would you recommend this to a friend or to a colleague? Yes or no? And then the next question is, if you were recommending this to a friend or colleague, what would you say? So what this does is this frames the discussion so that you are essentially training people to go ahead and make a recommendation to a friend. And they craft it in such a way that you can use it very powerfully. Another very powerful form of testimonial is if you can get a recording of someone actually recommending whatever it is you have to offer. For example, let me play this video clip from Social Media Marketing World and then we'll comment on it a little bit.
Well, I'm going to look down. So about how the conference went and anything I would say to people wanting to come next year? Is that what you mean? Okay. All right. Hello, this is Mari Smith, and I would say that Social Media Marketing World is a force to be reckoned with. This will become the de facto event to attend in social media marketing. It already is, and this is the very first one. So look out, 2014. It's coming, and I'll be there, and I highly recommend that you come as well. Okay, good. So I've said for years that there's no amount of sophisticated technology that will ever take the place of live in-person connecting, where you can look people in the eyes, you can sense their energy.
Okay, so here's what's going on here. You notice this was just a raw piece of video footage, and we just queued her up by saying, tell us what you thought about the event. And then there was a second question, which is, what about the networking? So this is the critical thing when you're asking for a testimonial via video, is to just let them start talking and then to ask a follow-on question. And what naturally comes out of that is usually spectacular. And let me just play a little bit more of it.
You can read their body language. You just have that amazing in-person connection. And that's what Social Media Marketing World obviously does for you. And the networking is phenomenal. And I have met people who I have been friends with on Facebook and Twitter literally for years. And then we meet for the first time, and it's super special. And what happens when you network in person is it absolutely augments that relationship, and it definitely turns into money. It turns into profits. I'll bet you that there are millions of dollars of deals happening in these couple of days here at the event.
Okay, so you notice how much better that second clip was because we asked her a secondary question. So this is a key part whenever you're asking for testimonials. Step number 2 is to find the good testimonials. By now, hopefully you've got people that took surveys and maybe you've got some video clips, and you literally go through and you identify all the really good ones that you might want to use. And you'll see that I've got this big document here with tons of quotes in it, and we had to dig to find the good ones. In the same way with the videos, you have to find the good clips. And I'll show you in this next step how to pull it all together. Watch how we've sewn some of these clips together.
Amazing community. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's just been a fantastic success.
To me, it felt like we were like the halftime of at the Super Bowl. This is one of the most professional conferences I've ever been to. It is intimate, despite the fact that we have 1,000 people here. The quality of speakers has been sensational. I took enough notes yesterday to last me like 6 months worth of to-dos that I need to do now. The networking has been phenomenal.
The networking is phenomenal, and I have met people who I have been friends with on on Facebook and Twitter literally for years, and then we meet for the first time, and it's super special. And what happens when you network in person is it absolutely augments that relationship, and it definitely turns into money. It turns into profits. I'll bet you that there are millions of dollars of deals happening in these couple of days here at the event.
Okay, so you can kind of see how we just used a tiny portion of that clip from Mari, and then later on at the end of the video we use another clip from Mari. So the key take-home point here is that you don't have to like use long segments. You can clip in on little tiny pieces. Before I wrap up, if you have any questions about how we did this, please do leave a comment in the field below this video. And just to summarize, there's 3 steps. Number 1 is get your surveys through exit surveys and video or audio endorsements. Step number 2 is to figure out which ones are the good ones. And step number 3 is to pull it all together. And to wrap this back to what we talked about in the very beginning with the cup of water I was holding in my hand, when you get all these amazing things from people, you can mold it, you can do all sorts of things with it. Just like water can be frozen or it can be boiled, and it can be serving different purposes. The same things can happen with your video. My name is Mike Stelzner from Social Media Examiner, and I hope to meet you in person at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego.